thanks for sitting in on the webinar tonight. I'm going to try and keep most points quite brief. As Scott said, there's a real in-depth version of everything I've got to say on the website, but I'll probably go into a little bit more detail on a few of the points sort of surrounding the EA and some of the opportunities that are sort of there for everyone that's involved. Obviously, if no one's seen my hairy face before, I'm James, and I've jumped into this frying pan of the auto forex trade in EA with Scott Samuels and Sam Gill, and how that came about really was essentially when I met Sam. It was on a day that he sort of broadcast to the world that after a long period of time that he'd finally achieved something that was really really special. And I sort of went to him, and I didn't even ask if I could use the product. I just wanted to know the story of what his message was. And so we started chatting, and really I had an experience where I was involved in forex, and I've got a busy life. I've got a family, young children, and so it appealed to me that potentially there was something that could do what we were involved in. So something that could trade in the background while I got on with full-time job, or looking after the kids, and also step away from the chart, because it can become quite consuming. And so I thought I'd sort of roll with it. And then really once I started to see the capability of the EA, I was hooked really, and I asked Sam that would he be interested in kind of taking it forward, and if he'd be happy pushing it out to the the world, the retail traders. Obviously, I had a lot of connections in the forex industry, and I knew that if it was as good as what Sam said, then it would be something that everyone would benefit from. Not just Sam or myself or Scott as the owners of the company, but actually everyone. It wasn't built for greed. And if anyone hasn't read Sam's story on our website, take the time to read it, because really that's part of what resonated with me to get involved with Sam. I've always operated in a way where I've had a very sort of transparent sort of ethos, and I've always liked helping people, not just in forex, but just in life in general, in different ways. And that's how me and Scott came together in our life a few years ago. And it was the same sort of thing really. It was the fact that Sam is a highly advanced programmer, but he's not purports to be someone that's able to market particularly well. So we kind of that was the sort of amalgamation of us joining together to go, well, this is looking really great, let's see what happens when we go and roll it out to the world. And I think what we've managed to develop is a really enjoyable team of people. I've known Scott for the best part of sort of 8-9 years, and trust him implicably with everything. I think he probably even knows what's in my bank account more than I do. And my relationship with Sam is very, very trusting, and we we as a business, obviously have to trust each other with very sensitive information. And you've just got to, trust that you're doing the right thing, and that everyone that's with you is going to, build on the ethos of what you want to achieve. So I think we've got a very, very unique team that works really, really hard, a team that has got time for people. And I think that's the foundation of what the auto forex trading is about. You won't catch us talking about, money and, sports cars or anything like that. I'm a family man, like most people, and not the women that are here, but the fact is that I am just a normal person in that sense. We all are, and we just want to try and reach goals that everyone would love to have. So we're no different from our customers. If anything, we're all customers. I've got customers that have got more money in this than I can afford. Scott's the same, Sam's the same. So we see people making bigger profits than us. Sam's a developer. It's been a long time since he set about building the EA. So he's invested huge amounts of time, an awful lot of money, that really isn't really available to him. Sam is supporting his family, and to spend what he spent on the EA development, and I don't know if many of you know, but the EA was built using modeling data, which costs money, and Sam's had to obviously invest quite a bit of money in buying that data. So for him, we're at the beginning of a journey. We're watching people make money every single day. We haven't taken any money out of the business. It's all going back into development. And the journey for us is just starting. And so everyone that's come on board is just part of that. And some of the people that are here today, I've known for a fair amount of time. Likes of Gordon, we chatted away on Facebook, and sort of gave him a little bit of blurb about forex, and I hope it's helped. But in relative terms, that's what we're here for. We have an amazing product that's not just there in its intrinsic self, it's there being optimized all the time. Sam Gill is monitoring data that gets dropped out of the EA every night at 3 a.m. He collects that data, looks at it over a week, looks at it over a month. If he has to do a full optimization in 2 months, he'll shut the EA down, check everything is working as it should be. So I think the point is that it's an evolving product, and it's also being looked after by the person that built it, and not in a way that traditionally anyone who's ever looked at EAs would understand. I think that's the key point that separates us from the rest of the market, barring perhaps a commercial level, or high-end investment EAs, stuff that banks use, is the fact that most EAs are built using MT4 data on EA builder sites. Now, I could go onto an EA builder site and buy different segments of different EAs or EA packages, and I could muck around with it, trying to trade how I trade personally, and it'd probably do okay for a bit, but ultimately, because the data on MT4 is manipulated, it can't be back tested properly, not the way that EA should be back tested. And that comes from Sam's mouth, so I have to trust that what he's saying is true. And if the fact remains that most EAs blow out, then I have to make the assumption that he's probably more likely right. And we know that MT4 data and demo data is completely manipulated anyway. So we don't even need to be that experienced to understand that it's understandable that most EAs fail, because when they go live, they then operate in an environment that they've not really got the data awareness. So they'll work on some days, they'll work for some weeks, and then something can happen that the EA just doesn't know how to deal with, because it's not a programmed condition. So it will just blow an account or keep on trading when it really, in a sense, doesn't know where it is. So primarily, the EA is designed for long-term, like a long-term investment. I say investment because although we're not money managers or anything like that, we don't have any control over anyone's account or anything like that. It's the principle that to try and take the word short-term gains or get rich quick is to drill that back out of people, because although we make, sort of what I believe is really attractive gains considering it's long term, it's almost a case of saying, yes, this is a brilliant product, but you've also got to start adjusting your mindset so that you do step into an investment sort of zone and look at compounding, look at adding different increments of money at different stages, trying not to withdraw from your account. And I think that's part of the ethos, is that we're not going to be around for 5 minutes, because our financial plans are 5-10 years and beyond. You can't invest for 6 months or a year, not if you're thinking long term. And any forex or long term investment has to have a reasonable amount of time for compounding to take effect. So increment wise, you're looking at 12 months as a minimum for the cycle of compound to take its first effect. So for me, 60 months doesn't seem like a long period of time. I've got kids that I blink and then the next minute they're at school. Well, that's your 5 years up. And if you've in that time been really sensible, you've adjusted your mindset, you've trusted in the capabilities of the EA, knowing that it's being optimized and that the programming has been tested extensively. When Sam built the EA, that took 12 months of programming. But Sam's also took further courses to advance his programming skills so that he could do what he needed to do. So not only was he a programmer, but he then had to go, well, I need to be better, and I need to understand how I can do something that most people won't be able to do. To 12 months to build something of programming over sort of 2,500 hours. Now, if there was a cost against that, most programmers would have cost about £120,000 in development fees to build that, based on a high-end programmer rates. And at that point, Sam could have stopped, put money into it, and just left it himself. But he didn't. He tested it for 14 months on top of the 12 months, and he tested it in an environment that was not an MT4 environment. It was the modeling data environment. And when people say to me, oh, can I have the back testing? I spoke to Sam about that, and he said, yeah, it's about 10,000 sheets of paper. So what do you want me to, how do you want me to send it? Because it'll make no sense to anyone else other than him. It wasn't about a pretty chart on the computer. The EA has over 9 systems built into it, and that primarily is built around risk management and controlling risk, because as we know, the forex market is a completely lucid environment. It's random. So most EAs work on a grid, and then what happens is that the market drops out of the grid and the EA says, goodbye, I'm just about to die, and take all your money with me. And the difference in what Sam did is that he went to market extremes on modeling data. If anyone doesn't know what modeling data is, it's used by banks. It's 99.98% accurate. It's not manipulated, and it's true market data. So when Sam backtests in that environment, the accuracy that he's able to scale, and bear in mind that the testing period for that was 19 years of modeling data, costed about £15,000 in terms of money over different pairs. And the key element here is that the modeling data enables you to work with multi pairs in testing, which you can't do in MT4. So although you can hose up a new chart and go, okay, I'm going to trade back test on Euro USD, what you can't do is you can't then open another chart and correlate it with GBP Japan. So in a real life environment, when you've got an EA running, it might well be fine opening on one pair, and then if it starts taking trades on another pair and then doesn't know where it is, it starts to get lost or take multiple trades based on the parameters it set. What will happen is it will just, you'll end up going into, drawdown, take losses and get a margin call. And what the difference that Sam has been able to do is he's been able, over 19 years, take the market extremes and how the markets have spiked. There's, in that 19 years, there was, market crashes, 100 pip spike, 200 pip spike, those sort of extremes. And that is predominantly, if anyone has done any trading, on a standard basis, everyone can do okay when the market is being predictable, moves into a trend, you trade the trend. It's in a range, you trade at the resistance and supports, and basically you'll do okay for a while, and then the next time you try and do that, market swing around, take out your stop loss, you've lost your money. So what Sam looked at doing was building an EA that wasn't fixed in its parameters, that it could actually operate in, as simple as I can put it, into a floating space, because that's what effectively price is. Price operates in a floating space, and those parameters change weekly, daily, monthly, yearly. So what it was to expect that really, yes, we can predict a trend. Yes, we can know when we're in a range. Yes, we can know when we're at an institutional level or a pivot level, and we could take a sell or a buy at those levels, depending on where they are. That's fine. And I'm sure a lot of people can reach that level. But what a lot of people aren't able to do is to control risk. And that's where we're set apart, because firstly, the EA is very clever in the way that it trades very small lot sizes. It doesn't overtrade. It doesn't take too many positions. It is able to keep drawdown very, very low. And in a sense, for me, drawdown was kind of, when I sort of met Sam and spoke to him about the drawdown, and I've always found it quite difficult to almost get my head around it, because it's just been different compared to what I've learned and what I would expect drawdown to be. And so it's been a massive learning curve, in the sense that our drawdown is just a held negative position, and the EA will operate within that and create a small calculation on the open risk and a small hedge, meaning that if a move goes against us, that it only requires a small correction by the market to actually close out the move in profit. In doing so, it might take 6 positions or 4 positions, and these positions will just be at R1 levels or R2 levels, R3 pivots, or major supports and resistance. And ultimately, as traders, you know that price very, very rarely moves away from these points without retesting. And the consistency in that is very high. So a lot of traders will wait for price to hit levels, then pick up on the pullbacks. Essentially, a small pullback is all we need if a move's gone against us to come out of the move in profit. And those profits, because of the hedging, will be higher than a standard move that goes in your favor, has a short profit target, and closes when it hits take profit. The other key feature is that the EA protects itself in terms of, once it's in profit, you're generally always going to be, you know, secured in whatever that profit is, whether it hits take profit or the stop loss calculates that it's moved into profit, and it will move, protects the move, keep a small profit protected. It either hits that as it hits the stop loss and you make a small profit, or it'll go on and hit take profit. But ultimately, it protects small gains that are consistent. And essentially, that with the hedging, and because it doesn't hit a stop loss in an open trade, we don't take losses in a sense. We only take losses in a hedge, which out of 6 trades you might lose 2, and that batch will close. The middle trade will close on virtually 0 or a few pound profit, and the other 2 trades will not only take out the calculation for the loss that you've incurred on the opening position, it will also hit a profit target, which means that, you know, most of our VIP members get excited when we move into a small hedge because they know they're going to make more profit. And sort of the capability of the hedge, people always say to me, oh, well, if you get a 100 pip spike or 200 pip spike, it won't be able to handle it. Well, last week we were in consecutive 200 pip spikes against us. This was on Thursday last week before an FP. I think it was USD CAD and GBP Japan. EA opened trades on them. Well, within 10 minutes, 2 huge spikes. One was GBP, a little rumble on Brexit, and USD CAD. There was nothing particularly related. It was just more of a market maker shift. Now, that volatility was on that particular day, when Sam looked back through the data. That kind of move hadn't even been seen on NFP this year. So it was quite a substantial move in the market. A lot of people got burnt. EA's all crashed. A lot of people have either been heroes and made a few quid. For us, we had 2. I'm just putting thumbs up to Scott. We had 2 trades that were 200 pips in against us, and the EA hedged out of them, both in profit, and we were about 6% drawdown in open positions, and came out with, you know, sort of 2. I think it was around 2 or 3% for the day. I think I'll leave that point there. I just want to quickly talk about security. Sam is the only person that has a copy of the EA. He also has a hard copy of it that's in a fireproof safe, and only his girlfriend has got a copy of the password, which I've bribed her for. So it's not available on the market because essentially it would be 5 minutes, even if we paid for licenses for it to have it secure before anyone would actually come along and hack it. You know, it doesn't matter what we spend on that. It would just be a case of people would want to steal it because it's so special. So in terms of security breach and the product, it's very safe. I'm just looking at my notes quickly. I think the main thing to point out is that the EA is zero involvement from users. You can watch it as much as you want, and most people will check their phones about 6,000 times a day. I'm lucky if I check my phone twice a day to look at the EA. I usually get notified by VIP when something's happening, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I've made 40 quid or 100 quid or whatever. So, you know, you can get on with your life or your job, or if you're doing anything else, if you just want free time, you don't want to sit in front of the charts, you're able to do that. Risk is taken care of, stop losses are all managed, risk is managed. The EA calculates the lot sizes depending on your balance, and as your balance grows, it will adjust the risk for you, so you don't have to worry about having to do anything. The connection through social trader tools is very, very good, secure service. It's very accurate between the master account, which Sam runs, and everyone else's. We've been, obviously we've been live for a few months now and have had absolutely no issues with them whatsoever. And they are actually working quite closely with us to improve their service, better tailored to our customers, and that's in terms of payments and data. So hopefully there's some good developments to come from there. A couple of other bits I just want to talk about: protecting profit. The EA is programmed with NFP sort of protection. It's designed to, if possible, it will close out in profit before NFP. Last week it had USD CAD open during NFP. It hit the volume spike, that closed us out, and then within 2 seconds it shut itself down. And during any sort of news, Sam is quite often monitoring the EA just to see what happens. Also, there's a gap protection because we sometimes have trades that are open before the weekend, and the EA can protect itself against gaps on the market, or recognise that that's potentially a risk. Briefly, I think I'll just pass over to Scott. He might just have enough time. He's got 5 minutes, he's saying. Do you want to quickly talk, Scott?
Yeah, so just to let you all guys know, obviously we're not going to have time for a question and answer session on here. There is going to be a thread on the Facebook group which is posted in the chat. If you don't have the desktop version, search us up on Facebook, Auto Forex Trading, join the group, and I will post a link to a Q&A session on there, and you can also post your questions on the thread itself if you don't want to join. I'll start up a new meeting for people to come and ask us questions. Just to run over a couple of bits, some of you have networks of people. We have a partner program in place, which is single level marketing, which is extremely profitable. We've got lots of marketers that are now joining it and looking to make money from it. Just to give you a quick overview of the figures involved. So if you recruit anywhere up to 8 clients, you will receive 12.5% of the commission that we receive each month for each of those clients. If you sign up to 16 clients, that goes up to 25% of the commission that we receive from all of those clients each month. If you sign up to 25 clients, you will receive 37.5% of everything that we receive for those 25 clients. 26 is the magic number. So if you manage to get 26 clients or more, that goes up to 50% commission, which is as much as we earn. You know, if we earn £200 out of a client that month that you've referred, you're getting £100 of it. You're earning just as much out of it as what we are. You know, so as James said earlier, we didn't set this up to, you know, get rich quick, you know, but we're making it available so that people who want to go out and recruit clients can do so and earn very good. And it's residual passive income, because that's every month while they remember. And of course, as their account balance grows, so does our 20% cut, so does your cut from that. You know, so 12 months and 24 months down the line, if they're still a customer of ours, you'll be earning far more from them, the same as we are, as their account balance has grown using our system. Those of you that don't want to actively recruit, we've got a friends and family scheme where you can actually get a reduction in the 20% performance billing that we take from your account, your own personal account. You know, that's got less, you don't need as many people on that, because, you know, we understand that sometimes you just want to refer a few friends and family. That's got various tiers as well, but just to give you an idea, the top number is 11 on that one. If you get to 11, then the performance percentage we take from you is reduced down to 10%, which is half. You know, so we've got various ways of giving back to you guys if you bring people into our service. You know, so we've got a couple of minutes left. You know, I'll open the floor to anybody who wants to answer a quick question. Hannah, who has asked, does that get paid into our accounts? At the moment, our payment system is manual for performance billing, which is done via PayPal. I will be in discussions with Social Trader Tools to see if we can get additional payment methods added. And then payments from us to marketers will be via one of those payment methods, you know, PayPal, Skrill, Nutella, potentially bank transfer from the business account to you. You know, well, I'm hoping to have various methods of doing that for people. So, Sandy, you can do one or the other. So you either do commission or you do friends and family. You know, so if you're doing commission, obviously you've got the potential to earn a lot of money. If you're doing friends and family, then you've got the potential of reducing your own personal percentage that you pay. We've got less than a minute left, so not really going to be time for anybody to, you know, ask a question on video, etc. As I said, get yourselves over to the Facebook group. There'll be a new link for a new 40-minute meeting that I'm going to do for a question and answer, you know, time. And of course, you can post any question that you like on the actual thread itself. Okay. If everybody's happy with that, we'll see you on Facebook in a minute. And anybody who wants to come and join the question and answer group, there'll be a new Zoom link for that. Okay.